All right, I'm so excited now to introduce you guys to my friend, the radiant and reliable Ross Tucker. So let's go ahead here, dude, and rewind to last Monday night, a historic and special performance by Lamar Jackson. We're talking 86% completion percentage, his passing yards like 442, a 19-point comeback, 4 touchdowns, including a walk-off strike in overtime against the Colts. I know we're living in the past here, but the Ravens riding his arm, not legs. When should that argument that Lamar is just a running quarterback be put to bed?
Well, first of all, Emerson, I got a new light here, so I appreciate you noticing, and I like the alliteration. Radiant, reliable Ross. I'll take it.
You're welcome.
But thank you for I like when you notice things. It shows that you care, Emerson.
I
I would also say this. I think the argument's over now. I mean, at this point, with what Lamar Jackson has done throwing the ball this year, and I got to tell you, man, I'm stunned. You know, he never threw it this well before this year on a consistent basis. He's been very consistent this year. And remember, he missed the first 10 days of training camp because he's on the COVID list, and all of his wide receivers were hurt almost all of training camp. So I thought, when are they going to work on this? When are they going to improve? Evidently, it just happened organically because the numbers he's been putting up are ridiculous. That said, and I know that the argument should go away, he's still going to have to do it 3 games in a row in January in the postseason. And when he does that, then everybody will just have to shut up forever.
I mean, he's must-see TV. He's been looked at that really since he entered the league. And Baltimore now has played 5 games, Ross, like 4 of which have been decided in the final seconds. Ravens are favored at home against the Chargers this weekend. Who do you think covers?
You know, I'm going Chargers, and I'll tell you why. If you remember earlier this season, I called that Chiefs-Ravens game. Huge game for the Ravens. They came from behind. They knocked off the Chiefs, blah, blah, blah. That next week out against Detroit, they should have lost that game. I mean, they were not at the same level, and they were fortunate that Justin Tucker set the all-time record by making that kick. This is a prime letdown spot for the Ravens after a Monday night overtime game against the obviously the Colts. Now they got the Chargers coming down, who are really good.
Yeah.
I'll take Justin Herbert, the Bolts, and the points.
I mean, Chargers scored 26 points in the fourth quarter last weekend, too. And you had Herbert almost 400 yards passing. He had 5 total touchdowns. So one better than Lamar Jackson there. And 8-1 ATS, the Chargers are over their last 9 games. So the Ravens here, Ross, are trying to win 5 in a row. That's something the Cardinals have done to open the season. However, they find themselves as underdogs in Cleveland, where the Browns haven't lost this year. So who do you like to come out on top?
You know, if I had to pick straight up money line who's going to win the game, I would go to the Cleveland Browns. But if you're going to give me the points with the way the Arizona Cardinals have played, I know they didn't play great against the 49ers. Here's the thing. They still won. Now, I kind of feel like, look, I know the way the NFL works, Emerson. Arizona's undefeated. That's not going to last forever. The Browns are coming off a loss. They're probably not going to win 2 in a row. So I think the Browns win the game, but I don't know that. I think it's a close game, so I'll take Arizona in the points.
Okay, well, we have another intriguing matchup here this week. It features 2 teams that you played for in your NFL career. You got the Cowboys, you got the Patriots. Houston's Davis Mills threw for 3 touchdowns against the Pats secondary last weekend, which should have Dak Prescott, right, like salivating about his trip to Foxborough, where New England has not won this season. Does Bill Belichick pull this thing off, or does Big D keep rolling?
Well, listen, it's pretty clear based on the last couple of weeks, Emerson, that Davis Mills is better than Tom Brady, as we all have known and suspected for years, based on how they performed against the Patriots. I'm kidding.
No, you're not.
Nobody be tweeting that or saying that to anybody. It's a joke. However, I'm going to take the Patriots and the points here. I know the Cowboys are 5-0 against the spread this year. I know they're on fire. But remember this, that Giants game was tie until Daniel Jones got concussed and got knocked out of the game. As well as the Cowboys have been playing, it just seems like Bill Belichick always has something up his sleeve. So you're going to give me more than a field goal, I'm going to take the Patriots and the points.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, the 5-0 against the spread, only ATS squad 5-0 this year in the NFL. What's another spread that you have your eyes on?
Well, there's a few, but I'm going to roll with my former teammate Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions. They are due, man. I mean, think about the Ravens game. Think about the Vikings game. They are due. Now, they're playing at home against the Bengals team, coming off that game where they tried to make a statement, got so close to beating the Packers, and people talking about the Bengals like they're a legit contender, all that. Nope. I said earlier, the Cardinals are due for a loss. Well, guess what? The Detroit Lions and the emotional one, Dan Campbell, they are due for a win. I think they got a great chance to get it. Even if they lose, it's a close game. Take Detroit and the points.
Yeah, both those teams, too, losing in heartbreaking fashion last weekend. How about a favorite game total of the week?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Chiefs and Washington. I know the number's really high, and I know all the professional guys would say you can't bet it over that high. Neither one of these teams can play a lick of defense. I mean, the only thing that really stops these teams is when they turn it over. Heineke throwing interceptions or Mahomes. Other than that, I think these teams are going to go back and forth scoring all day. I'll go over on the Chiefs and the football team.
Let's head over to the fantasy side of this Sunday main slate. Give me someone who's going to absolutely go off for people today. Come on.
So there's this guy for the Ravens named Lamar. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going Lamar Jackson. Okay?
I was like, hey, we've come full circle.
Here's who I'm going to really give you. Kadarius Toney. Dude, did you see him last week against the Cowboys?
Yes.
I know Dante Hall already has the nickname the human joystick, but Kadarius Toney is the new human joystick. The dude is electric. Plus, all the Giant skill guys are hurt. No Saquon, no Galladay. They have to feed Kadarius Toney. Get Toney in your lineups. Trust me. You can thank me next week.
All right, before you take off, Bills in another primetime spot. They're fresh off dominating the Chiefs and travel to Tennessee, jam-packed with confidence for Monday Night Football. How can you not side with Bills Mafia here? One of your former teams.
You know, I'm gonna lean to Tennessee in the points. Now, I will say this. Out of all the teams I played for, I have the greatest affinity for the Bills. They're awesome. I love that they're number one ranked in the Ross Tucker podcast power rankings. I hope they go to the Super Bowl. It'd be amazing. But just like I said about the Ravens and to some extent about the Bengals, classic letdown spot for the Bills. I know it's Monday night, but I wasn't buying what they were putting down at all about that Chiefs game. That meant a ton to them. They wouldn't have had Josh Allen run the ball that much if it was just another game. It wasn't. Now you got to go to Tennessee, and you're giving Tennessee a decent amount of points. Tennessee's a home team. Tennessee's pretty decent. I'll take Titans and the points, but I feel like I might regret it when the Bills beat them by 20. But I'm taking the Titans and the points.